Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining in. So, I'm talking about something which is pretty like what everyone faces a lot, our self-talk, and how does it affect us, and how can we beat it, not meet it, beat it. So, thank you all again for joining, and let me just share my screen. Yeah, is it visible?
Yes.
Is it visible?
Yeah.
So, it is all about, let's look at our self-talk today. Why do we need to look at it? क्या जरूरत है self talk? ठीक है चल रहा है, but what are we talking? What are we saying to ourselves? That is most important, and that is why I came across a very interesting quote. Like, be careful what you say about yourself because someone very important is listening. And who is that? That's you. You are the one who's listening to your self talk, and it is influencing you a lot. So we need to be really careful. What are we thinking? What are the thoughts going on in our mind, in our head all the time? It's a continuous running dialogue in our mind, inside our heads. It keeps it's ongoing, ongoing. And ये जो dialogue है, ये कुछ भी हो सकता है. It could be like we are giving instructions to ourselves, or अच्छा ऐसे कर ले, वैसे कर ले. मतलब it's a constant. Mind is supposed to be having more than 60,000 thoughts per day. अब वो क्या चीजें हैं, क्या थॉट्स आ रही हैं, तो वो यही होता है, इंस्ट्रक्शंस दे रहे हो, इसको ऐसे कर ले, वैसे कर ले, वो भी अच्छा ऐसे पकड़ ले. ये थॉट्स चल रहे होते हैं हमारे माइंड में, दो वी आर नॉट अवेयर ऑफ देम. सो इट्स लाइक अ रनिंग डायलॉग. एक तो ये होता है किसी भी काम कर रहे हो तो उसके इंस्ट्रक्शन चल रहे होते हैं. एक होते हैं रैंडम ऑब्जर्वेशंस माइंड में चल रहे होते हैं, लाइक अबाउट अ एनवायरमेंट और अ सिचुएशन, कुछ भी. लुक एट दैट कलर ऑफ दैट ड्रेस दैट लेडी इज वेयरिंग, उसको सूट नहीं कर रहा, तो ये थॉट चल रहा है. ओके अच्छा यहाँ पे ये कैसे टूट गया, ये क्या हो गया, तो ये कितनी सुंदर जगह, हाउ प्रिटी दिस गार्डन है, हाउ प्रिटी दिस पिक्चर इज. तो ऑल दीज आर थॉट्स गोइंग ऑन इन आवर माइंड, चलते जा रहे. एंड ऑल दिस इज रेफर टू एज आवर सेल्फ टॉक. सब कुछ इसके अंडर आता है. तो ये तो रैंडम चीजें हैं. तो but there are something like more deeper also connotations to all this. So we have to really be aware of this internal narrative. What are we thinking about ourselves? So हम कई बार उसको attention भी नहीं देते क्या thought चल रहे हैं. It's just going on, but they have a lot of influence on our actions, our mindset, the way we behave, everything. बहुत ज्यादा इसका इन्फ्लुएंस है. सो वी नीड टू रियली बी वेरी मच अवेयर ऑफ दिस, बिकॉज दिस सेल्फ टॉक जो है, जो इंटरनल नैरेटिव चल रहा है, इट इज अ मिक्सचर ऑफ कॉन्शियस एंड अनकॉन्शियस बिलीव्स. जो हमारे बायसेस हैं, जो बिलीव्स है, उनके ऊपर बेस्ड होता है ये इंटरनल सेल्फ टॉक. जनरली व्हाट वी हैव हर्ड अबाउट और वी इम्बाइब्ड इनटू आवर बीइंग, तो वही सारा कुछ रिफ्लेक्ट हो रहा है. And this can be either positive or negative, कुछ भी हो सकता है. Everything is in, and or both aspects are influencing a mindset. ज्यादातर तो they are negative thoughts. जो भी हम सोच रहे हैं, सारा कुछ वो negative ही चल रहा होता है कई बार तो. And they are like preconceived ideas about ourselves. और तो वो चल रहा होता है, we are not good enough. किसी ने कह दिया कि तुमसे तो होता नहीं है, तो आपका तो बिल्कुल अपने प्रति वो हो गया कि कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते. तो यू आर ऑलवेज अ फेलियर, यू कांट डू एनीथिंग राइट. ये वाले थॉट्स चलते रहते हैं, कुछ भी गड़बड़ है. जो पॉजिटिव होएगा ना, विल गिव less attention to that. We'll focus more on the negative aspect of it because that is the way of life. जो चीज नहीं हुई होती है और whatever has become negative, we focus more on that. Literally our brains जो है ना, they are hardwired to remember the negative experiences more than the positive ones. So हमें वही टाइम याद आता है जब हमने कुछ चीज ठीक नहीं करी थी. और some people also point out things that you have not done right. They will not point out things that you have done right. 5 टास्क करने होते हैं, आपने 4 कर लिए बहुत अच्छी तरह. Nobody will focus on that. They'll focus on the one that has been left off. So this is human nature. तो वो उससे फिर क्या होता है हमारी इट गिव्स अस अनदर यू कुड से फ्यूल टू आवर माइंड फॉर क्रिएटिंग दैट दोस थॉट्स वी आर नॉट गुड इनफ, मेरे से तो कुछ होता नहीं है, यही चलता रहता है. And then if you look at positive thoughts, many people say that it's a way of deceiving yourselves. कि आप जो है ना कई बार आप because positive के लिए you have to think in a positive manner even if things are not going well. So they regard it as a way of doing that, that you're been through, but you can manage, you can do it. So you know so positive जो narrative thoughts होते हैं ना, we just have to like I can do better next time. I need to bring that into my mind. Okay, I'm learning from my mistakes. I'm choosing to learn from my mistakes. I'm not being held back by them. वो सारे जो है, it's not deceiving ourselves, it's encouraging ourselves. अपने आप को compassion दिखा के you're uplifting yourself. That is what positive mindset is all about. And it really impacts us a lot, whatever is going on in our mind. And if we get into that zone of giving positive feedback to ourselves, it really creates a lot. Like professionals, just sports professional, an experiment was done on sports professionals, and they were given affirmation. Some were given affirmation, some were not. So the group that was given affirmation, they made tremendous progress compared to what the other one was doing. They were doing all the practices and everything, but उनके थोड़ा सा और better हो रहा था. Those who had the positive. So a lot of experiments have been conducted in this field, and they have shown results. The positive affirmations say you really uplift yourself. You can. Okay, so now what can be the, yeah, these are the thoughts that you can bring in, that I can do next better, choose to learn from my mistakes. Now, what can be the benefits of self-talk? Sorry, of course, it is, we've just explained it that you can do better, but there are some like particular we can pick up. It helps to boost our self-esteem. So it can help us to overcome so many fallacies that we have opened. Kai baar na, we are very conscious of ourselves. Okay, maybe I'm too thin or too heavy. तो उससे self talk से you are able to overcome those negative talks about yourself. तो आपकी self esteem को definitely boost मिलता है when you do these. And then it relieves anxiety and depression, because when you're in that zone where you're thinking negative about yourself, तो आप anxiety में भी रहते हो, you might even go into depression. So positive affirmations, positive self-talk, it will bring you out of that zone of anxiety, depression से. And then it's a very effective learning tool. It makes you able to learn in a better way. तो जितना आप अपने आप को बूस्ट अप करोगे, अपने आप को अपलिफ्ट करोगे, your focus on learning will improve. Then of course it helps to reduce stress. So if you are like positive self talk hai, to you're becoming more optimistic, and that helps you cope with things, and your stress levels, they come down. So it gives you an understanding of what you are doing, what are the challenges that are coming up in your life, and how best you can deal with them. So positive self-talk helps you do that, because it takes you into that mindset, okay, I can do it, I can try, I can do it. तो जो वो thought आता है ना कि ये मेरे से नहीं होएगा, उससे you come out of that zone. Then of course, this helps to boost your confidence, your resilience. So it can really like आपके self esteem high हो जाता है, तो you're more likely to achieve your goals जो भी आपको करने हैं, आपका confidence high हो जाता है. Yes, I can tackle these. So a regular positive self talk जो है ना, it takes you to a higher level. It can do that. और आप में भी जो है ना एक पॉजिटिव माइंडसेट सेट डेवलप हो जाता है कि यस आई कैन डू अ लॉट, आई कैन अचीव. सो ऑल दैट आई एम अप्रोचिंग इज अचीवेबल. प्रॉब्लम्स तो आएंगी आएंगी, वो तो हमेशा है, चैलेंजेस ऑलवेज है, बट यू फाइंड वेज ऑफ वर्किंग अराउंड देम, अगर आपके कॉन्फिडेंस आया होता है तो. Then it's about building better relationships also. So, when you are around someone positive who's very confident, how do you feel? You might have noticed that you yourself feel uplifted when you're around such people, because they उनसे ना जैसे कि कॉन्फिडेंस ऊज आउट हो रही होती है, उनसे बहुत कॉन्फिडेंस का आपको फीलिंग मिलती है, and it reflects. We are all energy beings, so we are all connected. So when we come in contact with such a person, we feel more attracted towards them. So if you develop those levels within yourself, optimistic levels, so your relationships are also going to get better. So it's all about like working on yourself, improving yourself. So and when people are in that positive frame of mind, when they are very positive towards themselves, they are capable of picking up positive traits in other people also, in those around them. तो उनको वो negative aspect कम दिखता है, positive ज़्यादा दिखता है. तो of course that is the basis of building a better relationship, कि आप become very accepting towards the other people, you're able to connect to them. So so in cases of anxiety and depression, तो getting into like positive affirmations, it really helps a lot, because depression has been linked with negative mind, self-talk जो होता है. Whenever you're feeling low, when you're not able to cope with things, so you keep feeding that into your inner mind. अपनी subconscious में आप वही feed करते रहते हो, and then it affects your whole life. So then you go into that anxiety area, low esteem, low self-esteem में, and aggression में भी आ जाते हो. Depression तो आ ही जाता है फिर उसमें. So getting becoming aware of your positive self-talk and adding those affirmations into your life, it will help you come out of all those anxiety areas also, जो भी है. So it literally changes your beliefs about yourself. So it makes you more open. It helps you develop an optimistic mindset, and then you're able to approach any aspect, any challenge with that mindset. And it's a positive mindset का ये मतलब नहीं है कि आपको सारे आंसर्स आ रहे हैं या यू ऑलवेज थिंकिंग अमेजिंगली. ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है कि आपको 24 घंटे पॉजिटिव ही सोचते रहना है. इट्स सिंपली दैट यू आर एबल टू रीफ्रेम योर व्यू अबाउट थिंग्स, हाउ यू लुक एट थिंग्स. तो आप जो है ना नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट को देख रहे हो, यू एक्सेप्टिंग इट एंड यू आर एबल टू वर्क अराउंड इट. So your mindset जो होता है ना वो constantly होता है, how can I tackle things instead of looking at just the problem. Okay, ये इसमें ये problem है, nothing can be done about it. उस mindset से आप बाहर आ जाते हो. So even if you don't do anything perfectly still, sorry. So even if it is not going well, तो आप कुछ ना कुछ रास्ता निकाल लेते हो. So that is about reframing your mindset, your way of approaching things. It helps you do that when you have that positive self-talk, voila, if you get into that. So anyone would like to share if they can connect to any of this? What is your self-talk like? Are you aware of it? I'll just stop share for a moment. Yes. Hello, good morning. Are you all there or gone to sleep?
Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning.
That's a nice forest orchard in which you're living.
Okay,
Staying.
thank you. Thank you. It's very energizing. So what do you think about your mindset? Are you a positive thinker or a negative thinker?
I can't help but be positive, no?
Okay, good.
Because everything is negative.
Right. So you have to bring in that positive into your life.
Negative,
Yeah.
then I have to survive, I have to be positive.
Yes, absolutely. We need it for survival. Yes, anyone else? Philomena ji, Neelam ji, anything you would like
I
to say?
suppose I'm both positive, negative, depends.
Okay.
But mostly positive nowadays, especially
Uh-huh.
being with people like you and the other groups.
Thank you. Great.
The positive overtakes the negative.
Absolutely. As Sanju
Yeah, let
says,
me
na-
give you an example now. See,
yeah. Haji?
uh,
Yeah.
a small baby squirrel,
Uh-huh.
that came to me,
Okay.
and I started taking care of it, but it died because of the air conditioning. I think it's too much. So I was feeling bad for a long time, for some days now. What to do? How to think positive from there?
You're asking me, okay, fine. So positive is that you were able to take care of it. You made its last days a little comfortable.
Yeah, but I should have taken care more of it. No, I should have been more careful.
Like life is not in your hands. So as I
But
said,
if
you
life is in
have
my
to
hand,
stop being the manager of the universe. You're not in charge. So you just be happy that you were given a chance to take care of it. It came to you.
uh, that is the good thing. It came to me, but then
Yeah.
it passed away. No, I should have been more careful.
Yeah. Life is very ephemeral. Like nothing is permanent over here. So things will come and things will go.
Hmm.
That's the way of life.
Uh, I have a question to the lady who spoke to you just now.
Yeah.
I didn't get her name.
That's Sanju. Sanju was talking about. Yeah.
Okay, Sanju.
Uh,
Um, what did you lose? I mean, I didn't hear the.
A
he
baby
was saying he
squirrel.
was taking care of a squirrel who had come to him, but
Oh,
then it
squirrel, is
passed.
it? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, squirrel passed away. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've been having, or rather, my daughter's house. This is where I stay.
Uh-huh.
We've had pigeons visiting us in numbers.
Uh-huh.
Ultimately, the whole balcony is messed up. But my daughter is very this, and even I'm a little this. And then, in the last, many little pigeons were born in the house,
Uh-huh.
and then they flew away and all that. In the last 2 years, I think we are going through this.
Uh-huh.
But in the last 4 5 months, three pigeons, I don't know what really happened to it. They were lifeless, like, but going on, and then suddenly, one by one, all three of them died. It
Okay.
made a, like Sanju, even I was feeling very bad because I'm more in the house than my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And I normally send healing, and I did try healing, like sending energy to life, come this, but it didn't survive, and I felt very bad about it.
Mm-hmm.
Then recently again, then we got our balcony cleaned up and we decided to mesh it up.
Mm-hmm.
Then it so happened again, some eggs are there,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just waiting for those eggs to hatch. And then in between, like one pigeon got entangled in some things in the balcony,
Mm-hmm.
and it hurt its foot.
Okay.
It was trying to fly, but it couldn't fly because of that foot. I mean, we untangled it and all, got some guy, security fellow, because we are scared of touching them,
Yeah.
because they peck and all
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
So he came and he untangled it and all. And for the past 1 week or so, it was moving around,
Mm-hmm.
but not able to fly. And I started sending energy, started talking to it. And I have a feeling that it has flown away because the balcony is empty now,
Okay.
except for the dogs, except for the eggs. So,
Uh-huh.
as you said, I suppose, life, we do become emotional, whether it's an animal, bird, or anything.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, this is what I wanted to share with you.
How can
Thank
you
you.
reason about things, like that it is
Hmm?
positive? How
So,
can you say, Meenu ji, that it was
I can't hear you.
your voice is very low, Sanju. We can't hear you.
no, Meenu ji, you're rationalizing, saying that it was good that it came to you and you were there and all that, but that's all. When you're feeling bad, then it doesn't help.
That's why we have to bring in that positive mindset. No? Look at the positive. Of course, now you couldn't stop it
Forcefully.
from passing away. Could
Forcefully.
you? Could you?
Huh?
Could you stop it from passing away?
I wish I could have, no?
But
If I had
you
realized
can't.
that the
It's not in our hands, no.
You can't. You're not God, right?
no, the air conditioning was a bit too much, I think. That's why it
Uh-huh.
got cold and passed
They're
away.
all like
That
one.
is my fault. I should have realized that,
No, it's
you
not
know,
that. They're all situations जो happen because the time was there for the squirrel to pass away. तो situations वैसी ही बन जाती हैं. We blame ourselves, but there is no need to blame because there is a higher power at work all the time. अब वो कई बार होता है ना कि हम this was a आप एक squirrel की बात कर रहे हो. Sometimes it happens with our relatives also. We feel we should have taken them on time. तो वो हमारी पूरी लाइफ टाइम एक वो थॉट चलता रहता है. Oh, if only I had taken them earlier to the hospital. If only I had taken them. कुछ कर लेती, कुछ कर. It happens. That's human nature. But we have to remember at the end that we are not in charge. और अगर हम नहीं लेके गए तो there was a higher power at work which stopped us from taking them at that point of time because the other person had to move on. We cannot hold anybody at all. So then we have to look at the positive side. We had such a wonderful life. Then we look at the positive thoughts, time that we spend with them. That should make us feel happy instead of just focusing on the thought that अरे मैं तो उनको लेके ही नहीं जा पाया टाइम से हॉस्पिटल. उससे तो फिर आपकी लाइफ भी खत्म. So this is what is developing your mindset. This is your growth. If you remain stuck in that thought, I did not take, it's not your growth. वो acceptance आनी चाहिए. I am not in charge. There is a higher power at work and I have to surrender to it. There's no other way.
no, Meenu
देख
ji,
तो आप
we
जैसे
also
कह रहे हो ना
have free will.
परेशान ही रहोगे कि I couldn't do anything. I was
We
blamed.
also
I
have
was
free
the
will.
one. Sorry?
We also have free will, Meenu ji.
Yeah, free will also comes in. You can choose to remain in that zone or you can choose to
No,
come out of it.
we have the power to do things, make things happen.
Yes.
So,
Do have that, but there is still a higher power at work. So even I sometimes feel even जो choices and they are guided by that higher power. Okay, you have to experience this, so you choose that. So, like everything is synchronized, you could say, choreographed by that higher power.
sure. So,
Thank you so much, Philomena ji, Sanju ji, for sharing that. I'll continue with a few more slides. So, yeah. So let's look at now, everyone's self-talk will be different. जो भी आप बोलते जा रहे हो, like you have your own mindset, your way of thinking. So you're feeling bad that I could not do much about it. So, and then Philomena ji is can be feeling good that yes, I was able to give energy and that vision recovered. तो और फिर जब अपने आप को बोल रहे हैं ना, सबका अपना अलग अलग thought आ रहा है. So I've just picked up a few affirmations. Why is it? Yeah. The positive self-talk affirmations, I've just picked up a few. So in each moment, I have the power to change my mind. So if I keep that thought in mind, that I'm not stuck in whatever I'm doing. अगर मुझे अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, तो I can change my track. I have the power. So and वो इसलिए होता है कि I've chosen a task, people say, ego आ जाती है. तो हम अपना line, कई बार you choose a line of study, you're not able to cope with it. It's okay to change it. At least you're not stuck with it for the rest of your life. The same thing happens with your relationships also. So where you feel you're going wrong, you have the power to change your mind and get into a better zone. So that is the power we all hold. Then I'm capable and strong. I can get through this. When I approach any situation with this thought in mind, definitely I'll find a solution also. Then whatever task I'm doing, I will give it my all to make it work. That's another positive self-talk affirmation that you can do. Then Of course, every situation is a learning one. So I can learn from this situation, grow as a person. So if I'm not been able to do something, so what can I do the next time? That you can keep that thought to grow. Then, so even if the sometimes the outcome is definitely not what we hope for. अच्छा हमने किया तो this is what should be the outcome. But even if it is not that, you have learned a lot about yourself. You have to keep that thought in mind. Then every action, every activity, every situation, it is an opportunity for me to try something new. How can I approach things in a different way? How can I bring a new angle into life? What can I do next time which will be better? So वो सारे thoughts, these are the positive self-talks which will uplift you, which will help you grow. Now I'm just looking at how to use positive self-talk. How can we use it to benefit us? So what are the strategies and techniques that we can use to uh, go more in that zone of positiveness? So before you can begin to use positive self-talk, I need to first identify what is my mindset like. So what is the negative thinking self-talk that I am involved in? So once you understand that, then only you can understand how to come out of it. So इसमें there are four categories आती है कि self-talk कैसा होता है. एक तो होता है personalizing. So what you are doing, Sanju, just now, you blame blame yourself when things don't go wrong, when things go wrong. So you're personalizing. That's your self-talk also. Okay, if only I had done it in the other way. So you're blaming yourself. That is one aspect of self-talk. Then there is polarizing. And that means that you see things only as good or bad. There is no middle path. या तो अच्छा या बुरा है, आप उसको थोड़ा कॉम्बिनेशन मिक्सचर में नहीं देखते हो चीजों को. तो इट्स यू हैव टू सी बी अवेयर, am I doing that? Then sometimes we magnify things. तो उसको हम इतना मतलब सिर्फ हम जो है नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट है उसके ऊपर फोकस करते हैं एंड वी डिसमिस द पॉजिटिव और द गुड साइड ऑफ इट. तो सिर्फ मैग्नीफाई जो है ना नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट हो रहा है, जो भी सिनेरियो में नेगेटिव था उसी के ऊपर फोकस करते हैं. लाइक आई गिव द एग्जांपल कि आपने 5 टास्क करने हैं, 4 कर लिए, you'll be focused on only the 5th one कि I was not able to do that. Others will also focus कि अच्छा ये तो किया नहीं और क्या किया फिर आपने. Then we also have the tendency to categorize. You're always expecting the worst कि हो ही नहीं सकता immediately. कोई लेट आ रहा है, एक्सीडेंट हो गया होगा, पेपर ठीक नहीं हुआ, फेल हो जाओगे तुम. तो यू ऑलवेज एट दैट एक्सट्रीम एंड जहां पे नेगेटिविटी ही सोच रहे हो, आप नेगेटिव ही सोच रहे हो. सो यू हैव टू नाउ आइडेंटिफाई where does your self talk lead you to. So it can be one or it can be all also. थोड़ा सब कुछ ही हो जाते हैं. So once you start categorizing your thoughts, then only you can begin to switch them. आप अवेयरनेस आएगी तभी तो उसको ठीक करोगे. अगर अवेयरनेस ही नहीं है कि मैं क्या सोच रहा हूँ, कैसे सोच रहा हूँ, तो उसको ठीक कैसे करोगे. एंड दिस इज नॉट समथिंग दैट हैपेंड लाइक दिस कि अच्छा अभी मैंने बोला, अभी मैंने करा, हो गया. नो, इट इज समथिंग यू हैव टू कॉन्स्टेंटली प्रैक्टिस, कीप ऑन डूइंग इट. आइडेंटिफाई एंड चेंज, आइडेंटिफाई चेंज. सो और जो स्ट्रैटेजीज है, सो वन इज दैट जो identify your self-talk trap. So what are the situations or the thoughts of others that trigger you? Like if if you don't like socializing and you have to go to a party, तो you already पहले ही जो है ना बहुत negative self-talk आपका चल जाता है. तो it's like a trap, like I have to go for a party. You start immediately, ऐसा हो जाएगा, वैसा हो जाएगा, माइंड में क्रिएट करना शुरू कर दो. So you have to be aware कि I am doing that. You need to then switch your thought process to something else. why focus on the like वो anxiety जो आती है कि I have to socialize की उसकी anxiety पे focus मत करो. Focus something on positive. Okay, fine. What can be positive? I can meet that person, any particular person you like. So focus on meeting that person. Or I can have good food. Uske upar focus karo. So don't focus on the thought of being overpowered by the everyone present over there, the party. As I gave the example of going to the party, so instead of getting into that negative zone, पहले से ही positive affirmations करने शुरू कर दो. And if you have the tendency to do that, तो keep post reminders like slips बना के इधर post-its इधर उधर चिपका दो, or keep some cues around you कि when I see this, I'll feel positive. कोई crystals रख लो, anything you can keep around, and whenever you look in them, automatically your mind feels relieved. So आप positive zone में जाना शुरू कर जाते हो. And then another thing you can do is check in with your emotions regularly. So, switching to self-talk, it takes effort. It's not easy कि ऐसे switch on कर दिया, नहीं. Because हमारी attunement इतनी ज़्यादा है ना negative self-talk के लिए, so it's not always easy to switch us. So it's okay. Accept it. It's okay. But I will put in the effort. And whenever that negative self-talk is going on and you want to get rid of it, take deep breaths right into the pit of your stomach and breathe that thought out. एकदम से deep internal breath लेके feel that you're releasing that thought with the breath. And then try to change your situation. जहाँ पे हो वहाँ से move कर जाओ. Or in the mind you can give it a chant. कि कोई chant कर लो. गाना भी गा लो, कुछ भी कर लो, but switch from that negative thought process to a positive one. And then don't be afraid to create boundaries. So it's कई बार वो होते हैं लोग who don't bring out the best in us. We have to live with them. So you have to create boundaries so that, okay, fine, I will not allow anyone to poke me beyond this point. Whatever you want, like you can either move away from there or you can switch off internally also. वो कहते हैं ना एक कान से सुनो दूसरे से निकाल दो, वो वाले जोन में आ सकते हो. It's not being disrespectful to the other, but you're protecting your own self, your consciousness, so that you don't go into a negative zone. कई बार करना ही पड़ता है वो, because we have to be there for ourselves. So we need to understand where it is that I'm getting overpowered and then try to find ways of coping with it in a different way. So at that moment, you can step back mentally or physically also if it is possible, and then find ways. Affirmation say, yeah, sending positive thoughts to the other person, needing forgiveness, कुछ भी कर सकते हो. So this was about some techniques that you can use. There was one practical exercise that I came across, practical activity that you can do to change your mindset, bring in that more positive one. So it was like, this is the exercise: listen, learn, and think it through. Whatever you're approaching, whatever negative aspect your mind, you have to work on your mind through this activity. Listen, learn, and think it through. So the first step is listen. So what you have to do, you have to pay attention to your self-talk and note it down. So yeah, it's like a daily activity for at least a week. थोड़े दिन के लिए आप करो उसको, keep a diary handy and pay attention to your thoughts. What are you thinking all the time? And like you can use these questions to see what you are thinking. Like, is it mostly positive or negative? Your thought process. कैसा चल रहा है mind में? क्या thoughts चल रहे हैं? And look at what events or scenarios trigger that negative aspect in you or encourage you positively. तो दोनों चीजें नोट करनी है आपने. Look what things trigger, how things trigger you. So that's another thing that you can look at yourself. Then if somebody heard your thoughts, what would they say about you? If they knew you talk to yourself in such a way, what would their reaction be? These are things that you need to think. It's an activity that you need to do to change your mindset. And then, are there any common patterns that trigger you? Anything that on a regular basis you get triggered or you feel uplifted, both aspects, positive, negative. So those also you can note. So this is a task that you need to do by writing them down. So every day, yeah, you can either keep it handy, write down throughout the day, anytime you want to note, or you can sit down at night and see what happened to you in the day and how you were triggered, what were your positive thoughts, negative thoughts. So this task you can do at night also. Then the second step in this is learn. So after 1 week, after you've written it for a week or so, reflect on what you have written. What have you understood about yourself during that past week? You can look at these questions. What thoughts came up most often? सबसे ज़्यादा आप क्या सोचते जा रहे थे? What was it that triggered you or uplifted you? वो देखो. And then why did they come up? Why did those thoughts? What was the situation? उसके बारे में भी सोचे. What made you think in that way? And then comes the interesting question that if you switched your thoughts, negative से अगर आपने positive कर दिया होता उस situation में, how would the situation have been? So this is something you can think through. Okay, if I just shifted that thought process, so things would have gone in a different. कई बार हम करते भी हैं कि अगर मैंने ये बोला होता, or if I had not said that, things would have been different. So when you have that awareness, it's easier to bring it into your life. Then you can also see how did your negative self-thought, जो thoughts थे, how did they hold you back from achieving whatever you wanted to? आप कुछ कर नहीं पाए थे तो वो क्यों हुआ था? क्या thought process था which stopped you from giving your 100% or being able to complete the task? कुछ भी. So all are reflective questions that you need to take up to build yourself up, to come into that space of growing. And the third will help you achieve that in a bit. The third step जो है, you have to think it through. So you really need to think over why you had those thoughts in the first place. And here you need to be totally honest with yourself. Nobody is listening. You don't have to share it with anybody. जो आपने सोचना है exactly how it affected me, what was it, whatever thought, is it ego based or is it coming out of anger, कुछ भी, whatever, be honest with yourself. And then you can also look at these questions. How big a deal was it really? Was I overreacting in that situation? So this is something, again, you need to approach with honesty. Was it really something which I could have not allowed myself to get overwhelmed and overreact? Then you also have to think about कि जो मेरे thoughts थे, are my thoughts and conclusions based on facts or opinions? Do I have concrete facts to base my thoughts on? या दूसरों की opinions affect कर रही है? And then if it is opinions, whose opinions is affecting you the most? How is it creating your mindset? How is it poking you or making you think in a negative way? Or if you're feeling positive, what uplifted me? So if in that positive zone, then you need to try to be more with such positive people who uplift you, so bring you out of that zone. Then I also need to take care, like, am I guessing and making assumptions? कई बार हम ही माइंड में क्रिएट करते रहते स्टोरीज. किसी ने एक बात बोल दी, हमने उसके ऊपर पूरी एक बुक लिख दी, नॉवल लिख दिया उसके ऊपर, in our own head. making assumptions, oh ऐसा हो जाएगा वैसा हो जाएगा. So like somebody just negative वाला होता है ना, तो एक casual comment किसी ने बोल दिया कि this color is not suiting you, और कुछ काम अच्छी तरीका से नहीं हुआ. उसके बाद you create a whole story in your mind. You bring yourself down, break yourself, सब कुछ कर सकते हैं. Maybe he thought in a different way and आपने कुछ और समझ लिया. Like somebody, the other day somebody commented कि it was not very professional. So उसके बाद I went into that zone. Okay, I kept thinking how was it, क्या हुआ था. And then later I approached that person and asked him, okay, what did you mean by that comment? But उससे पहले मैंने पूरी अपनी story create कर रखी थी. But and when I approached him, it was something totally different. And I was like, okay, why did I not ask earlier on? So, we really need to be careful. What are we thinking? Because our mind is very good at creating things. So instead of going into that zone, बहते जाओ पहली ही बात करके clear up the situation. So that is where it brings it. How accurate is this thought really? What I am thinking, am I thinking it correctly? तो एक तरह से वो belief बन रहा है मेरे में. So where is this belief coming from? Maybe earlier on somebody said something, so my confidence went down. So now when he said, तो और भी ज़्यादा हो गया. So we have to really go down deep inside. तो self reflection बहुत जरूरी है to understand what how do I uplift myself? How do I come out of this zone? So I'll just stop share. So anything that triggered with you, anything you felt relevant over here?
Thank you, Meenu. It was very relevant because we all do self-talk.
Absolutely. It recently happened with me. No, that's why I said I'll take this topic up.
Yes, I think we all can relate.
Yeah.
Anyone wants to share anything? And do we have meditation today?
Yeah, we can do.
Awesome.
Yung isa masabi ko sa kanya.
Very good topic, and thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Rajwin. Okay, so I think we come to the end of it. There's one more thing that you can do to bring uplift yourself to come into that positive zone. So just note down every time somebody thanks you for your help or your good work. Every time you feel confident or good about yourself, because it's all about uplifting yourself. So any small success you have, just note it down. It's not about feeling proud about it. It's like uplifting yourself. So उसमें वो proud वाली नहीं आती है, but we have to be there for ourselves at the end of the day, right?
Yes, I think that is very important because we often do exercise for what is not working. Okay, how to make it work.
So appreciate yourself. That's it.
Yeah.
So I think we can stop live streaming now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let me